Hello and welcome to this video where I talk specifically about how to get a webinar set up without having your videos all ready. So what I highly recommend is if the first time you're looking at this or you're trying to find out how to get a campaign up and running, go through the quick start guide which you'll find in the helpful resources section. In the support section there's videos there as well on the specific subjects about webinars, webinar videos, all that kind of stuff. This video is solely about, let's say you are thinking about creating a new webinar, but you haven't quite got it ready yet, but you want to actually get all the pages set up and everything around it, but you don't actually want to kind of get everything ready to go live yet because you're doing it in stages. So this is specifically about how to set up a campaign without having all your videos in line. Okay, so there's a few specific things that we put in place, and we do this intentionally. It isn't issues with the software. We've done it for like fail safe because we don't want you ever launching a campaign without there being a specific video entitled to it, attached to it. Otherwise you're wasting precious views on those pages, etc. So what we basically do is we come in here and we click start new campaign because we want to set up a brand new campaign. So I'm just going to call this new campaign like so. And I'm just going to call this demo in this case. So I'm going to click here, start campaign. Okay, it's going to build a campaign, and like I say, we might not have all the elements of the campaign ready yet, but we still want to kind of get the thing ready so we can do all our editing and everything else in between. So obviously you go through here and change all your headline or anything you want to change, etc. Again, watch the videos in the help section. You put in your page image, you change all your text, you put in presenter names, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to jump through this and show you where you would actually have to set up bits in here. Now, we basically allow you not to upload an indoctrination video at this stage. You don't have to have an indoctrination video on there. But again, you change anything you want here. Same with the webinar pop-up, same with the booking, same with the questionnaire. I'm jumping through these very quickly intentionally because if you need to know what they are, this isn't the right video for you to be watching. Go back and watch the quick start guide and it will walk you through step by step. And also we allow you to set up without an indoctrination video, okay? Now, the most important thing is when we click next is then we're on to the content. Now, here's the important thing. We do not allow you to have a live campaign out there unless you have some sort of webinar video file attached to that campaign. So my advice to you right now is if you do want to set up a campaign without your webinar ready, then just upload any MP4 or WMV file. It could just be a recording of your screenshot of your desktop or whatever. It could be any YouTube video, anything. It doesn't matter. But we will not let you launch a live campaign unless you have a video webinar in this section, okay? Now, the reason we do that is just that we don't want, and we found people launching webinars and they get people to their lead page, do all the hard work, and then find that they hadn't actually set up the video correctly or it didn't have a video at all in that campaign. So therefore people went, oh my god, I've wasted all this time, money and effort and I forgot to upload my webinar, right? So that's why we put this little fail safe in there, because if we don't select the video it just comes up with invalid webinar. So let me just show you what I mean. So if I don't select any video here and I just go through everything until I get to the end and I publish it, there's two things here. The first thing is, and again I just want to show you why we do this, it's like a fail safe. If you think, obviously it's draft, so we go, okay, leave it in draft mode. I click save, okay, like so. And if I leave it in draft mode, we have a couple of warnings. The first thing is here, we've got a little draft thing here saying it's not active. Secondly, we say no video selected. So it means that when I go and click the link, like so, it won't actually show. But obviously the main thing is you've got your booking URL now. So that now means you can go and record your webinar and insert it later, right? So you don't actually have to go through and set up all the wording of the copy of the lead page, all that kind of stuff, just to get your booking links. This is kind of like the shortcut process for you. So I'd obviously take my booking link, record my webinar, and all this is fine. But if I had forgotten to not do that and actually set up and leave this in draft mode, you can see if I click the link to go to that page, it says webinar not found, okay? So you go, okay, it's probably because I'm in draft mode. So let me go back and edit that I'm in draft mode. So I'm just going to continue on here. This will send me back to the editing screen, okay? So you go, I know what I'll do, I'll make it live, that way I'll be able to see my page. But again, we've still got this little warning hand here saying there's no content up, right? But let's just do that anyway, because I'll show you what happens when you do that. So if you select draft or disabled, then you get that same webinar invalid or webinar not found page. But if you want to see what it looks like, you think, okay, I'll do active. So you save it as active, okay? But again, let me show you what happens when you save it as active. And again, this is all done intentionally as like a fail-safe to stop you uploading webinars and creating things which haven't got a live webinar attached to them, because that's the last thing we want you to do. So I'm going to click the webinar link, URL link again here, and you can see it now says webinar invalid because it hasn't got a valid webinar attached to it. Okay, so if you want to set up a campaign and for whatever reason you want to see this particular lead page, then what you need to do is come into here and actually make sure you've uploaded a file of some description just to the webinar page. Okay, and then that way you'll be able to see what your copy etc looks like on your lead page, holding room page etc, i.e. you can test your funnel without actually having a webinar. So we go to little content, we want to get rid of this little red hand, that's why I put a little red hand there, and let's just say you select anything you want to upload, and once it's uploaded, again there's videos inside how to upload it. I'm just going to select this particular video here. I'm going to click use selected webinar. There's a video in there like so. Jump over to publish. Now I leave it as active. I click save like so. Click OK. Now, and what's important is it will show you here in a second that we actually have a video ready. Okay. Just let my internet catch up. Apologies. Sometimes this is why, obviously, again, we check this, and you can see, obviously, if there's any issue with your internet, it will notify you as well. Let me just refresh that again and just see. It's probably just my internet. It said, obviously, we had some issues. Okay, there we go. So you can see now my internet caught up. So basically, we've now gone green. We've got active, green. We've got one video ready, which is green, which means we've got a webinar attached to it. So now, if I click this link, you'll now see the lead page loads exactly as I changed it with all the bits in there. So you could then configure it, you can test it, you can do what you want, you can opt in, etc. You can do all the bits in here that you would do should you wish to, all right? But that's the reason why and how you would set up a campaign very quickly without actually having a video in. So just to be clear, if you just want to get a booking URL link and you want to fast forward everything, then you can set up a campaign, but it will not show this page live. But you wanted to get your booking link, it won't show this page live until it's got at least one video, i.e. the webinar video inside of it. Okay, just because we don't want to launch you without a webinar attached to it. So that's an easy way to get the booking URL without having to create the full campaign. All right, so it's just kind of a little workaround there of how you can create one without actually doing it. But just remember, unless you've got a video ready button here where it says it's green and there's at least one video ready, you will not see this page until you make it active. You have one video ready and then you'll be able to see the lead page as I showed you. Any other variation of that, you'll still be able to get your booking link, but you won't be able to see your lead page and every other page attached to that campaign.